Buttermilk.
This is a bribe for telling the stories.
No, this is for your parched throat by telling these stories.
Shoot.
Okay, so school, you were talking about school. SIWS, right?
No, PWS.
PWS.
People's Welfare Society.
Okay. And when you used to go to school, your other brothers and sisters were with you here in Mumbai? I mean, the entire family was living together?
Not really. My first two brothers, who were basically born in Trichy, they continued their studies in Trichy. Only me and my elder sister, we were studying here at that time. And this school was at Sain, which is one station from Kurla. And those days, the funny part was, Bombay was up to Sain. So Kurla was actually outside Bombay.
Right.
And as a result, the BEST, as we know, the BEST bus would not ply to Kurla. And our bungalow was just at the beginning of that tip, from where Kurla started. And it was a very popular place because the Agra road, the only road going out of Bombay, which started from Sain, the next point was our bungalow. And then it went right up to Agra, where it was renamed Lal Bahadur Shastri Marg or something like LBS Marg. So this name Lal Bahadur Shastri never left my life. It continued. And so that's the bungalow. And there was something called Bhavanani. It was a private bus service where the ticket, I think, was some 2 paise or 3 paise or something like that. And it was not kind of controlled by the corporation. It was just a private operator. So anybody who can find some place in the bus can board the bus. You know, so the people would hold the rods in the bus and hang out. Almost, much worse actually. And there were a lot of people who would not buy the tickets, and the conductor had no method to even reach them. And so it was real fun. It was all completely free for all. But people did not abuse the system. So that's the bus. So we have to take the bus from my house to Sain, which is roughly about ride of about 10 minutes. And from the Sain bus station, you walked a little for about 3-4 minutes to the school. And I am told that the school started with my batch. That is, we were the first standard and the first year of that school.
So you mean to say the standards progressed along with your studies?
Absolutely.
Oh wow.
So the school started with me as the first batch. So I was in first standard. So when I completed the SSC, which then was 11 years, so that was the 11th year of the school. And in fact, the schools recently celebrated the Golden Jubilee, and we were all felicitated because we were the first batch to come out of that school. And it was a very proud moment for many of us. So we joined in the first class, and it was a mix of Tamil, though it was an English medium school, but most of the teachers were Tamil teachers. So you had an extension of your parenthood. So the teachers were so strict and disciplined that it was just like being in the house. There was not much of a difference going from the house to the school.
And also in those days, I think, though it was an English medium school, teachers were allowed to use their mother tongue. If the children
which was Tamil.
Yeah,
which was Tamil. So 90% of the students were Tamil students.
Correct.
So invariably, the whole thing was in Tamil. But you would be surprised, this Tambram, the community to which we belong, actually speak English more than Tamil. Even in the house, you will suddenly find the husband and wife talking to each other in English.
Like we are doing now?
Like we are doing now. No, that is because you are not a Tamil. But coming back, the Tamils had this unique habit of always conversing in English, not because they wanted to show off, but they were more conversant with that language, and they could express their emotions better in English. So maybe that's how it happened.
But then who used to go to school with you? Your brother, sister, or you also had a younger brother there with you?
No, that was much later.
Oh, okay.
So in my school, it was just me. And after many years, my elder brother, who came back from Trichy to Bombay to settle down for good. But my sister, the elder sister, who was 4 years elder to me, she joined a school called Good Counsel School, which was also in Sain.
Yeah.
So that was a convent medium. So, I used to always feel terrible that my parents did this discrimination right at my young age, that they put me into an ordinary Tamil school and they put my sister into a convent school. And I used to feel, terrible. Why am I being discriminated against? But I think
those days convent school was supposed to be the
no, it was prestigious. I mean, when you said that you go to a convent school, it meant that you belong to a higher class. Those days it bothered, but now I realize, looking back, I think having studied in my school was a great thing to happen to me, because all the values, the ethics, morality, truthfulness, honesty, sincerity, dedication, perseverance, all these things happened in that molding age, and without realizing, somehow they seeped into you, and that has made a lot of difference to me in my life. And today I would say that I'm far superior to people who have studied in convent school in terms of educational values, in terms of academic brilliance, or what have you, professional life. So I think God was kind enough that He put you into the right place at the right time.
Who were your friends then?
It was a boisterous gang, and you would be surprised that I maintained relationship with some of my friends who have studied with me from first standard till today. In fact, Mahesh, whom we went to visit just 3 days back, was with me on the same bench for from the first standard onwards. So it was all these students hailed from middle class families, and they all hailed from a good family background, good cultural values. So we had this uniformity, though it was a heterogeneous kind of a group, but somehow there was a uniformity, and it was a co-education school. So you had boys and girls sitting in the same class. And of course, boys will sit on this side and the girls will sit on the other side. But we had a lot of fun, and the co-education meant that you were comfortable with a lady around you, you were comfortable with a girl around you, and in a very nice manner. So these values came in all about.
So there wasn't anybody who used to go to school from your area with you?
No. I had a close friend called Kalavati, who studied in the same class. And I think even Kalavati was a God-sent thing, because I would invariably forget my timetable. I would never prepare myself for the next day's task. There will be a lot of homework and all that. And Kala came in very handy, because just 5 minutes before we have to leave, I will check with her what is the timetable and prepare myself. And if there were homework given, I will copy from her book. And she was nice, and she never bothered about all this. So she invariably kind of accompanied me to the school every day. And there were times when I would look out for a lift. Those days you wanted to save even this 3 paise, because your parents never gave you money. And for example, today morning you gave me idli sambar, but if those days, if I have to have an idli sambar, I should have 30 paise in my pocket, because the minimum any hotel was 30 paise for an idli sambar.
That was Hanuman Cafe, right?
Hanuman Cafe, Sain Cafe, Canada. Well, there were quite a few hotels around us. So we were always looking for saving this 30 paise. So if you save 3 paise, which is the per day ticket, and 3 paise for coming back, so 6 paise per day into 5. So within a week or so, you somehow managed to save the bus fare. It was the only main road.
Yeah, correct.
So we used to just do our thumbs up, and somebody would halt thinking that we are school children in a uniform. So they'll just give us a lift, and free some motorcycle fellow or some car fellow or something like that, some truck fellows. So we always used this kind of.
But I'm sure the girls never did that. Only you did.
Yeah, that was the worst part. So when I used to go with Kala, she would actually be waiting in the bus stop for me to come to join. And invariably it will take time. But I had very difficult time in my childhood, because I was given so many tasks and unending line of tasks, and it was sometimes very frustrating. Bhai, kya ho raha hai mere sath? Why so much injustice to a small child? And if I want to share with you the kind of timeline that we had, morning you get up at 5:30 or so, and you pretend that you have brushed your teeth. Half the time you didn't do it, and you just drank your milk. So the duty started with going and fetching milk. Those days you had shortage of milk, so you used to get a metal coupon, and you have to show that card in the counter, and it's all dark, and there is a lantern, and he will verify your thing and then give you 1 liter, half liter.
Metal card came, actually there were coupons.
Yeah.
The booklet kind of a thing, they have to tear it off.
Tear it off and give.
In case they tear off 2, you
have gone. So fetching the milk was a big task. It used to consume almost about 45 minutes to 1 hour in the morning, and just when you are sleepy, you have not still gotten up from your sleep, but then you have to go and fetch your milk. And ours was a big family. My father, my mother, some cousins living in the house, and so about 10-12 people. So you can imagine the number of milk bottles that we had to fetch.
Correct.
So you had 1 liter bottle, half liter bottle. So you have to also do your mathematics, in terms of exchanging the money.
Correct.
So in the darkness, you have to do this transaction in the morning itself.
Correct.
And that transaction very often was so frustrating, because the guy always wanted to steal some money from you.
Correct.
So all these things happened. So we fetched the milk.
There was no light.
There was no light. All this was in the lantern.
And he used to keep it with him.
Absolutely. And it was closer to him so that he will not get. So anyway, getting all this, come back to the house, and then I had to pluck flowers for my mother. My mother was very devout, and we had, I realized the multiplicity of gods in Hindu religion then, because we would have photographs of all the deities. You have Ganpati, you have Muruga, you have Ayyappan, you have Devi, you have Rama, you have Krishna, you have Anjaneya. So many photographs. My puja room used to be filled with about 40 photographs.
Correct.
And my mother has to make a garland for every photograph. And you can imagine that means a substantial number of flowers, and we never had shop to go and buy.
Absolutely.
So we had a fairly big garden. In that you had this tagar.
Yeah.
So tagar is actually a plant, but the plant in our house was so old that it had grown into a tree. So I have to pluck the flowers from the entire tree. Then we had this hibiscus.
So you have to climb up.
Yeah.
You can't climb.
No, I'll come to that later. So tagar, she used to give me this stainless steel vessels. So you have to pluck all that and put it in that. Then you had hibiscus, the shembarati, that you have to pluck, and all that would be done. And there are times when I would still be so sleepy. So I found the right spot in the tree, kind of a Y-shaped branch where I could kind of sit down and, put my head and sleep for some time. So all these pretensions happen early morning, absolutely. So all this would happen, and my mother will shout, "Where is the flower?" So you get up and hurriedly. And my mother had this very, very strange habit. Just when I had to go to the school, she wouldn't even give me the glass of milk
Unless you pluck
you pluck the flower. So the bus is coming from one side, you have to board the bus, and she would insist on the hibiscus flower to be plucked. So she will wait, tell the driver, wait. She will hold the bus, she will ensure that the flower is plucked, she will take there, and then we will board the bus. So this whole episode was about 1.5 to 2 hours in the morning, and my school was at 7:15 in the morning. So you can imagine by 7:15 all this had to be done. You have to wear your uniform, you have to ensure that the buttons are worn straight, and those days you never had good chappals and all that. It just went as it is. And
half the times even the pants did not have the buttons. You had that kargota thing.
no, we used to call it aranakair. It's a black thread around your this thing, and you never had a belt. So you just do that. And imagining back, you can't even imagine how those days were, how we lived then. It was all shortage, but we were so happy with that shortage. And then
most of the times these uniforms are also already worn by elder brother.
No. You got everything from your eldest brother.
Correct.
So eldest to next to next, and by the time it comes to you, it's all worn out.
Correct.
And you don't know how many places it's torn. But we used to even enjoy that.
Repair that and use it.
So this, I was telling about Kala waiting in the bus stop for me to come so that we can take the bus. And just when the bus comes, I would do this, and somebody will stop. And poor thing, she can't join me, and she will go by bus, and I will get a free ride.
She waited for you and gone alone.
No, she has waited for me. I have gone alone. She has to then come to the bus stop. By the time she reaches the class, she would be late, and she'll be given a punishment. So at my cost, invariably she got the punishment. And last time when I met, she said she enjoyed that. So this was the challenge.
Now she can say that.
Yeah.
In those days, I'm sure she was upset.
And the biggest problem with Kala being a neighbor was all the marks were discussed in the house. And invariably, like God would have it, she will get better marks than me. So the day the results would come, I would invariably run away from there, because I knew my father is going to ask me. He will not look at my number. He will first say, how much did Kala get? And if I'm lower than that, I'm going to get a beating. Those days, getting beaten up in the house was a very normal thing. Not like today, that you bet your child only once and that. Almost every day there was a beating for one reason or the other.
And most of the times you wouldn't even know the reason.
Exactly. So you have done 10 things during the day. So finally in the evening when you get beaten up, you don't know for what you are getting beaten up. So but that was fun. But we enjoyed. The parents, they had to make us better children. We enjoyed, but did the same mischief again. So for us it didn't matter.
It was not a deterrent.
It was certainly not. They thought it was a deterrent, but it was not. But looking back, Kala was an integral part of my growing up. And finally, the last day of our school, where we finished our 11th standard and the results came, I had the last laugh. I had better marks than her. I am telling you, in my entire 11 plus 5, so roughly you were about 16 years by the time you cleared your SSC, and that was my happiest moment. That all the beating that I got, ultimately I was proved right, because in a public exam, I got marks slightly better than her. And I don't mean it in a negative manner, but in a very positive manner. I felt, after all, I'm not so bad.
What was your childish explanation that she got better marks?
Well, she was a girl and she was pretty and she put a lot of powder on the face. So my Hindi teacher will always give her good marks. So all these stories, you fabricate these stories when your father is going to beat you. You have to give a very logical explanation to him as to how you got less marks. So I would suddenly say, no, she is pretty and she goes to school every day in time. My mother doesn't give me milk, she gets milk every day. So all this childhood, like Krishna said, why is Radha having such a nice hair and why am I a small choti? So all this childhood pranks you did. But looking back, I think it was the most enjoyable period of my life, and we had a lot of fun, a lot of mischief, a lot of beating. And the beating just was not in the house. In the school, equal amount. For example, I was a little weak in mathematics around 8th standard or something like that. And I was, by constitution, I was a little frail and short. So my maths teacher used to lift me by both the ears. And when I gave an answer, he'll then drop me like that. And before I could land down on the ground, there'll be a slap on the face. So, that kind of painful. But that pain was forgotten in the evening. So next day again you would end up doing the same thing. But it did change my life. From 8th standard onwards, I became a little serious. And then I was the school highest in mathematics when I finished my SSC. I was the school highest in Tamil, Sanskrit.
Who was your Tamil teacher?
This teacher was very pretty and she was so nice to me. She met me sometime later when I became a little popular in South. I was performing in a program. And suddenly I found one lady prostrating at my leg, and she got up, and to my horror, I found it was my Tamil teacher. And I said, how can you do namaskar to me? She said, no, you're a big man today, you are Abhang singer. She said, but not, sorry, you are my teacher. She said, no, you are my demigod. And I cried, because the lady who taught me Tamil enjoyed my Tamil songs, and it was such a touching kind of thing. And people around me didn't know what was happening. And I was too important and too popular, and people actually shooed her away. But I felt that was a day when the circle came full.
Her Tamil, your Tamil is today.
Oh yes, no question about it. That she was the one who gave her life to ensure that I will learn the Tamil that I. Today I speak comfortably for 3 hours, 4 hours. I do public functions. I speak a lot on the stage. But that basic fundamental strength in Tamil, and that flow of language, and the choice of words.
Correct.
These were the things which were very important for any orator, for that matter, not necessarily for anybody who speaks on a public platform. It is very important to express your thought, express your whatever that emanates in your mind in a manner that it would straight go to the heart of the audience. So that unique ability is what my Tamil teacher gave.
So what happened to the movies? I mean, Tamil is okay, but
don't even ask. Don't even ask. My house was terribly anti-Hindi because we were all Tambrams. Films was a horrible thing. You cannot discuss films.
As far as the Hindi movies go.
No, Tamil movies my mother would surreptitiously go and see. But as children, we were never even allowed to go for any film. So what will happen is I had this fad for Hindi film tunes because they were so catchy.
Correct.
And we had instruments in my house. We had a small harmonium.
Who used to play?
Well, my harmonium, my elder brother used to play. But there was a broken mandolin which I tuned. Like Tanpura, it's a small instrument. And I would keep on plucking that and somehow kept playing some music. I still remember there was a song, To main kya karu ra, mujhe buddha mil gaya. This was a thing from Sangam.
Correct.
And I would pluck that on the mandolin and I just wouldn't get the notes right. And I'll keep on doing for about 2 hours, 3 hours in the afternoon. And my mother will, when are you going to stop this? But I tried. But those were my initial baby steps to learn music. And all the music that I have today is all self-learned. Nobody has taught me. And everything that is music today to me is all so strongly, fundamentally powerful because I did that effort to get this into me. The notes. Similarly, we had concept of half note. It was so difficult because the harmonium had buttons which is the full notes.
Correct.
So this particular note was half note. To get that into mind was a big task. So I'll keep on practicing this. But coming back to Hindi films, Kala had an elder sister called Geeta.
Correct.
She had some money and she would always buy tickets for me because I would say, sorry, you want me to come for a film, I can't buy the ticket, I can't afford.
Yeah, in those days girls couldn't go alone.
They couldn't go alone. So they wanted a company. And my biggest quid pro quo was, you'll buy my ticket. So she would buy my ticket. We had 2-3 theatres in Kurla. We had Akash, Bharat. Kalpana is much later. This was, the oldest was new model.
Correct.
And it was the oldest model. So we would go for an afternoon film because you can't go in the morning, so you had school. You can't go in the evening because father will know. So you had to choose that afternoon shows. And I must have seen quite a few Shami Kapoor movies, and I was a fan of Shami Kapoor. Not because I understood the language. My Hindi was so poor that I would never understand the language. But I somehow managed to enjoy the film and get going.
But then apart from this, what other type of singing did you do in your school time?
No, school time there was no structured singing, but we learnt Marathi Abhangs.
That
And in
was
fact-
also later, I think.
No, during the school time.
Before that, your father used to bind books for you?
No, that was not singing. That was chanting.
Okay.
So every day, this 50 gods on the wall have to be satisfied. So my father would somehow manage to get shloka. Shloka is a kind of a narrative thing, like a poetry,
Correct.
which is not singing. It is not sung to a tune. It is just chanted. So you would start from Vinayaka, 2-3 on Vinayaka, then move on to Saraswati, then move on to Muruga, then move on to Shiva, then move on to Devi, then move on to Ayyappa, then move
Why
on to...
this particular order?
Well, the system had that order. For anything, when you start, it was always Vinayaka, Ganpati. So you had...
How is that in the bhajans?
it's the same system. It's the same system that you have a hierarchy. When you say hierarchy, that means some gods are important, some gods are not so important. So some gods have to be remembered every day. Some gods have to be remembered on special occasions. Some gods have to be remembered, and some gods are there always. They need not be remembered again and again. So Ganpati was very important because Vigna Harta, you have to look at him every day. Saraswati was important because you have to study. Lakshmi was important because you have to have idli sambar.
Yes, money.
So money. Then you wanted to have Muruga because you wanted to have that valor and strength. So like that, each god has its own role to play in your life. So we also had to remember. But coming back to this chanting, so my father, what he would do is he will select shlokas from various bind them into a single book, and give one copy each to me, to my sister, to my mother, and anybody who is around. And every day evening 7 o'clock when the lamp is lit, any Hindu family would light a lamp as the Astamana happens, and at that time you have to sing the praise of God. So it would, and I fortunately had a good voice. So if I don't chant something, my father would immediately come to know. So I am duty bound to sing all those 50, 60 shlokas, and sometimes, if it's a special day like Thursday, you have to sing Mahishasura Mardini Stotram. Some days you have to sing Vishnu Sahasranama if it's an Ekadashi. So like that, you had a big timetable, and you have to satisfy. And my father was a disciplinarian. I must say that he turned out to be always angry at me for various reasons. But what I am today is all because of his anger.
Correct.
And he was so strict, and he ensured that you can't get away with excuses. But every day evening he'll bring something for me from the office.
Correct.
So he would have one small laddu, or on the other side he would have some saindana, the other side he'll have some biscuits.
Coat, right?
He wore a jacket. You don't call it a coat now.
Yeah.
So those days people who were kind of above managerial level wore a jacket. And he was the...
4 pockets in those days. Right?
No, many. You don't know where all pockets.
Inside
Yeah.
also.
So what he would do as he comes back from the house, he would always reserve the best for my mother, blocking that rest of the things were distributed to others. So he would ask, which pocket do you want? So I would say left down pocket. So whatever was there then belongs to me, kind of. So that fun we had, and every day morning I used to accompany him to the station. When he was going for work, he had to cross a railway bridge and go to the Kurla station, which is about 15 minutes walk. And I would accompany him halfway through, because after that he will give me say 4 annas or something like that. By that time the economy had gone up, so we could afford more. So he will give some money, then I'll buy some biscuits and come back. And he was a taskmaster. Not only you had to be good in studies, you had to be good in so many things. He trained me to be with domestic animals. We had dogs in the house, and all of them had to be taken care of by me. So I had to remove the fleas from the dogs. Then I had to buy them biscuits and rusks. I had to buy the post office stamps. Those days, the only method to communicate was by letters. So you had a postcard or an inland letter. All of them required stamps. So he will send me once in 3 days to buy stamps and the postcards from a very complicated. And he would send me to you had these vans, mobile vans which used to come at a specific time. And at that time you can go give your money and buy. So he'll give a big list of items, and you had to calculate the even numbers, odd numbers, so that mathematics you automatically got. And we were very strong in tables. Even suppose you wake me up at 3 o'clock in the night, 8 8 are 64. The answer was bang there.
So how did that happen?
I mean, every day 1 to 13 was a must. And some days when he was in a good mood, 1 to 16. And
but this happened in the morning or evenings?
Morning, he'll wake us up at 4:30, the Brahma Muhurta. The concept of early morning studies was very, very important. And not that he will wake us up and go to sleep. He'll also sit with us, and he will do a lot of official things. So we had no scope to kind of cheat on him and go to sleep or anything like that. So we had to do all that. So morning was homework and chanting, meditation, mathematics, table, and then evenings was this post office business. Then buying, the shops were far off, so you had to go buy things. And in between, once in 15 days, you had to buy the ration. So I had to carry 20 kilos sack. I had to go and fetch kerosene because there was a shortage. Then there was a shortage of rice. Then there was a shortage of coffee powder. Then there was a shortage of masala. So all this and coffee powder, I have to go to Chutney Road because there was an India coffee house. Masala had to be ground at Matunga. So you have to carry the ingredients, go to Matunga, wait there for 2 hours, get it grind, and then bring back. And rice had to be procured from Mankod because you had this small boats smuggling because it was all illegal. So you had to go and hide that poti, 5 kilos thing under the bus seat and all that. They will come for checking, and if you are caught, you are stuck. So rice had to be.
And South Indians need rice.
South Indian, we can't do without rice. And kerosene had to be, you had these bullock carts transporting kerosene. So usse jagah kerosene. So your entire day was filled with one action or the other. And to top it all, my grandmother, that is Ganesh Shastrigal's wife, by that time Ganesh Shastrigal passed away, and she also came and lived with us. And she always had a perennial leg ache. So somebody has to press her legs. And she had asthma, so somebody has to give her this vava, what do you call it? Omam. So that has to be brought. So invariably the entire day was filled with tasks, and one reason where we had some relief from this was the Binaka Geetmala.
Oh yeah, Wednesday.
So every Wednesday, and without the knowledge of my father.
Wow.
My father was in a different room. He would close the door and he would do his official work, and all of us will, very nicely, without making noise, in a low volume, we'll listen to the Binaka Geetmala. And my elder brother was an ace in doing all that. He could adjust the stations. So we will listen to this Binaka Geetmala. All those songs were imprinted into my mind, and that's what next day I would do on the mandolin. I try to play them and irritate my mother. So Binaka Geetmala was one. Then there was another incident. Those days you never had fans and all in the house. Electricity was itself not there, but when electricity came, you had a tube light or a single light. That is what was bulb. And then somebody said, my cousin started working for a company who were manufacturers of fan. And those days, any new item into the house came in only because somebody got a discount.
Even radio was
No, everything came into the house because somebody got a discount. Otherwise, you can't go to the shop, buy and bring. You can't afford that.
That is a luxury.
So this guy had to buy a fan. So the question was, who will fund it? My father said, no, I don't need a fan, because he could not afford. He had 5 children, he had to take care of.
And
so
apart from 5 children, you also had many other people in your
No, like I said, all my relations used my house as a staying lodge.
Correct.
Everybody had to be fed, and we did not have this family concept then. It was always an extended family. Everybody lived with you and everybody ate food with you. So when the fan was bought, ultimately my grandmother required the fan because she was getting old. So she said, I will fund under one condition, that I will sleep directly under the fan. So the house had a list of priorities, who is important in the house. So she will get to sleep right under the fan. Then she liked my eldest brother very much, so he on the other side, my sister. So ultimately I was kind of relegated to the cornermost post, and that's all that I could get a place to sleep. But it was fun.
But then apart from this, how many other people or why would they come to you?
Many. My father managed to get jobs for many people in the corporate segment. So we had the cousins who were doing in Trichy or Allahabad or whatever, and he'll bring all of them, provide them good jobs, and they all used to enjoy it.
So how did you come down to this singing thing again? After this shlokas,
I think it was a disaster in my family because that's where I met you.
No, I'm not referring to that disaster yet. I'm referring to the shlokas. After that chanting of shlokas.
No, shlokas led us to small namavalis. And like I said, my elder brother used to play harmonium. So he'll play harmonium and all of us will sit together and sing some namavalis and all that. So when we completed 1 year, somebody gave this brilliant idea that you must celebrate, you must call some external group. So we had invited one Mohan Pai and group, and we were flabbergasted listening to that.
That was Balaji, right? Balaji Mama.
Balaji Mama. So he got this group and it was Marathi Abhangs, and we were simply stunned. What a program, how they sing Marathi Abhangs. And my father really got very impressed, and he requested Mohan Pai was a big name then, the guru, my guru. And so he said, why don't you teach Abhangs to my elder brother Ramu? So he said, well, let's see. So we were all, we never thought it would happen, but it really happened. After some days he came home and he said, I'm taking classes in Kundla, so you can send your son to learn from me. But because my brother was kind of visually impaired, so somebody had to escort him, and so that responsibility also fell on me.
What happened? Why was the...
Well, around 8th standard he lost his sight completely. He had some childhood issues. So that ultimately he turned blind around 8th standard, but he was brilliant. He is far more brilliant than even I am today. And somebody could read him something and the whole thing would be by heart. And that kind of a unique ability he had, and he was a good singer. So he had to learn Abhang, so I have to accompany him. And your mother used to come for that classes, and both of us were completely bored with what was happening around with the old ladies, and we used to play with each other. This must have been around my 14th or 15th year. My 14 years I was, and that's where we met each other, and then slowly it blossomed into a different relationship. But yes, so schooling, that singing also went parallelly. Then Ramu used to give some small public programs, so I used to always
What did he sing? Not Marathi, certainly.
No, he by that time was good in Tamil songs, he was good in Sanskrit because his shloka and all he had. And because he was visually impaired, he developed a taste for it, and people used to invite him to sing and all that, so all Shastra Pritis and Murugan festivals. So I always accompanied him.
But this was also, I think, much later, isn't it? During the school time, you also met Haridas Giri.
That was another experience. Now Haridas Giri, while he came into my life quite early, but in terms of music it happened much later.
Correct.
In my childhood I still remember I saw his first ever program in Bombay. He was a great singer, catering
First ever program, that is his first ever program.
His first ever program in a place like Matunga, and he used to have a crowd of 2,000, 3,000 people for his Nam Sankirtan in those days. And he was absolutely mesmerizing, his story narration and all that. For a Tamil audience it was the best that could have happened. He was performing in Matunga, and he just said that there is a set of songs in Tamil called Lalita Navaratna Malai, which were 9 paragraphs, the gems, the 9 stones. And this goes for about 8 minutes, the entire rendering. And anybody who can by heart this within 3 days, he will give them a Tulasi Mala. Tulasi Mala is what I am wearing today. This is Tulasi Mala. So he said, you will give that. And I was enamored. I was by nature, I always wanted challenges in my life. And I cannot sleep till the time I resolve. So I said, I must do this. But my Tamil was terrible. And this was a very, very difficult tongue twister. Just to give an example, it is like Katrum Teliyar Kade Gatiyai Kadmudi Nadunkanavanatamam Petrum Teliyar Nelayan Nelamam Perugum Prayan Pesatagumo Patrum Vaira Padeval Vaira Pagavarka Yamanaha Yedutavale Matrada Aruchunaye Varuvai Mata Devom Lalitambekaya Mulakanale Sharanam Sharanam Mudia Mudale Sharanam Sharanam Kolakili Sharanam Sharanam Kuntra the Voliku Vaye Sharanam Nila Tirbe Nila Neneva Nenema Telian Nendre Naruvai Valai Kumari Varuvai. Very, very complicated Tamil and a tongue twister. I made the challenge first that I will do this within 3 days. And as I started, I realized I made a big blunder in my life. That I should never have decided till the time I knew what I was up against. But there was an inner force. It kind of pushed me. And like it or not, I by-hearted it in 3 days. So I was so thrilled that as a small child, I could get this Tamil, and thanks to my Tamil teacher,
Yes.
which I mentioned about earlier. I said, I have achieved something great, fantastic in life, which nobody else could do. And with that sense of pride and sense of achievement, I joined the queue, and he was going to give the Tulsi Mala, and the organizers drove me off. They said, so no Tulsi Mala for our children. I said, oh. He made an announcement on the stage that he will give it. Who are you to stop me? They said, no. And I was a small boy. So I was kind of shooed away.
You were hardly, I think, 10 years old?
No, maybe a little more, 12, 13 years. And I was shooed away from that area. And I felt very hurt. I said, no, I can't take this. I have done it, I have achieved. And with all that pride and elation, suddenly I am being shooed away and I can't take this anymore. So I said, no, I will take it from him. So they showed me away. I could not beat him. He was a big man. I mean, you could not even go near him. The next day I found out where he was staying, and that happened to be in Sion. So I decided I will go and meet him. So I find out the address, and after my school is over, those days we carried an aluminium box to the school. So found out the address, went and knocked the door. So his deputy was there, and he opened the door. He said, what? So I said, I want a Tulsi Mala. So he said, no, Tulsi Mala cannot be given to children. I said, no, you have no business to talk to me. I am not interested in talking to you. I have to meet Haridas Giri. He said, he is sleeping. I said, no, I'll wait.
He was not Guruji till then, right?
No, he was Haridas Giri.
Yeah.
And then he became Guruji and became world famous and all that. So I said, I'll wait. He said, no, you can't wait inside. I said, I'll wait inside. And I waited, and hearing this commotion, because I was a little loud in my argument, because I was very argumentative, and I wanted to tell the world that I have taken efforts. Now nobody can stop me. So in that commotion, I think it disturbed him in his sleep, and he opened the door and said, what is happening? And you have seen him many times, he comes like a big hero. He walked out. So I said, you announced on the stage that you will give a Tulsi Mala. I have by hearted, so I have to take a Tulsi Mala from you. He says, no, it cannot be given to children. I said, you didn't put that condition when you announced from the stage. So he was also taken aback. He never thought somebody would argue back.
But that was the truth.
It was the truth. It was the truth. And he said, have you back?
He never expected that a child will take up.
Not at all. I mean, it was a challenge to a grown-up man. Even today, I'm telling you, people can't get it into their tongue. You can get it in your mind, but you can't get it on your tongue. There's a lot of difference. So he said, chant it. And I chanted, and without any mistake. And he then realized that he has a challenge on his hand. He has to give, but he cannot give. So I think he was trying to find a way. So then he asked me, do you sing? I said, of course I sing. So he took me on his lap. For me, it was a big thing. This Parsha of a great man. You had something going on your body throughout. And when he took me on his lap, I sang a small Namavali. And then he said, I cannot give it to a child, but I can give it to a Bhagavata. So you are a Bhagavata today. So telling that, and I was completely lost on cloud 9. I didn't know what was happening. Such a big man, people can't even go near him, and I'm here sitting on his lap. I want photographs were not there. There was no mobile. If I had, that was my biggest day in my life.
Correct.
But having done that, he put a Tulsi Mala, then he put a Namavastram around me, and then gave me a big apple, and he said, go to your house just like this. And this was around 3:34. Normally, I would have reached home by 1:30 for lunch. And 3:34, I'm still here. Then I take the bus. Everybody gives me a dirty look. क्या भाई ये क्या बच्चा है कि पागल है? कोई ऐसे राम राम कृष्ण कृष्ण लिखा है क्या हो क्या रहा है? तो conductors gave me a dirty look. But I was so proud. It was like the Namdev story.
Yeah.
When he does that Nevedyam into Pandharpur, Vittal, and Vittal has it, and he comes out, he is completely elated. So I reach my bus stop. I get down, which is my house is opposite. I have to cross the road and go to my bungalow. And everybody is waiting there on the opposite side. Why this child has not come? He has to come at 1:30. He is lost. Where do we find him? And here I get down from a bus, wearing some Namavastram, having an apple in one hand and aluminium putti on the other hand. And the first thing that happened to me was, as I crossed my road, my mother gave me a tight slap. And it completely brought me to the ground. And I said, I'm on the top of the world, and my own mother, she says, have you gone mad? Where are you for 3 hours? That's when I realized mother's love. They don't look at anything else. For them, child is a child, and they can't afford anything to go wrong with the child. And I explained everything to her, this is what happened. But it just didn't enter her mind. She said, why are you late by 3 hours? and in future how can you go without telling me? So till evening that whole thing was happening. My father arrived at 6:30. Again I got beaten up for having done all this. So my entire pride was crushed, and it was a terrible thing in the evening. And in the entire area, everybody discussing, Arey, that Ambi was ultimately found. They used to call me Ambi. How he was ultimately found, 4:30, he comes back. I think he has gone mad, or he has taken sannyas, and he is putting some cloth on his, nobody realized what is Namavastram. So the entire, everybody, they all come to my house bungalow and, from the window, look at me like this, अरे क्या हो गया इसको, बहुत मार खाया आज. तो मेरे बगल के घर में भैया लोग थे, you from UP, about 10-15 bhaiyas were standing there, everybody doing, as if I've done a big, गया काम से, बहुत मजा आया. So that was when singing started, and then Mohan Pai, all this put together, it was fun.
Correct. And during this time, when this was happening, how is that your father met Guruji?
No, as a family we were always devout. Any such program happening in Bombay, our family always went. So I think my father went and met Guruji after this episode. Till that time he had not seen Guruji and realized that he has...
Was your father following such...
No, not at all. My father was a big man professionally.
So how did he go there?
Or maybe he must have really thought this young child has learned, because he realized that I have learned that Lalita Navartamala. If somebody can have such an influence on a young mind, obviously that person must be somebody big. So when he realized that I have learned this, which for him it would have been impossible for 50 years. And within 3 days, if somebody could influence him to learn this, that means something is there. So he went and met him and told him and all that. Then he became close, and that is when he directed us to Jnanananda Swami, because my father was always concerned that Ramu had this visual impairment, so how it could be done. And as a family we were always believing in Swamiji's and the higher power. So we went to Jnanananda Swami. That's how in Tapovanam we went in I think it was 1963 or 64, when I was hardly 8 or 9 years old, immediately after this episode. And that was also a very stunning experience.
How did you reach there?
I was all alone.
Why?
I went from Bombay to Chennai, and imagine at the age of 13, I travel all alone in the train.
Why?
Again, that same challenge, attitude.
Your family, how did they allow you? Or
No, my family did not allow me, but I was kind of a maverick.
Behind and they went?
No, not like that. My grandmother, sister and Ramu went to Tapovanam, and I was very upset that I was not taken. Those days you always had a shortage on money. You didn't have. So the question was, they could not afford the tickets. So by the time I kind of cajoled my father and made his life miserable, he ultimately bought a ticket for me, and I get lost kind of. And I took the train. I was very bold and I was on my own. I thought of myself, I took good care of myself. So I took the train, reached Chennai. From there I took another bus, reached Dindivan. By the time I could not reach Tapovanam. Halfway through it was already night, so the bus could not go. So I got stuck in a intermediate place. So they said next day morning that bus will go. So you sleep in that bus. So I slept in that bus. Next day morning I reached Tirukovilur. From there I go walking and have a darshan of Swamiji. The very first moment that I entered Tapovanam, I didn't know he was Jnanananda Swami then. So he just asked me to sit and eat breakfast. And then people told that he's Jnanananda Swami. And then of course the life took a completely different route. From all this mischief and all that, I completely changed myself and got into devotion, bhakti and singing and all that. Fun.
But during that time, when you went to Tapovanam, you also spent some holidays there, right?
Yeah, much later. This is original vacation time was Trichy time.
Yeah.
But after we met Jnanananda Swami, the vacation time changed to Tapovanam. So every vacation we'll go there, my mother will come, Ramu stayed there for some years. So that's how we became
you also
more.
did some rituals used to take place.
Pada Puja.
Pada Puja for
Swami, Jnanananda Swami live.
His Guru.
No. Jnanananda Swami would sit there and we will do Pada Puja. In fact, we were one of the very first group of devotees to have done Pada Puja in Tapovanam. It used to be a big talk of the town because we were a family from Bombay. For them, we were very rich people. So we did the Pada Puja and it was the talk of the town. And it was an elaborate affair in Tapovanam. So going to Tapovanam became quite frequent. And integrating with Haridas Giri, who then by then had become Guruji. He became world famous. He sang in all the countries. So that process continued. And
so how did you learn from Jnanananda Swami?
No, I did not learn anything. He was too elderly for me. I was 13 years, he must have been at least 120 years kind of things. But he was a great guru, and it is said that he was a part of the Jyotirmath Parampara, and then he
That is one of the Shankaracharya's Pita.
the four Chaturamnaya Pitas. So Adi Shankara had four devotees:
Yes.
Hastamalaka, Padmapada, Sureshwara, and Totaka. So these four Sishyas of Adi Shankara created four mutts all over India, and these are called Chatura Amnaya Mutt. So he was belonging to Totaka Parampara. From Jyotirmath he became a Parivrajakacharya. They walk around and they denounce all the Pita responsibilities and bless devotees as they go along. So he went to all over Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia, Sri Lanka, and all that, and finally came and settled down in Taporam, and that's when we met him. So it's a very long story. Sometime I'll speak on that elaborately.